John O'Connell, CEO and founder of the Oasis Group. Your firm recently published an insight on using AI for workflows in advisor practices. Can you tell us a little bit more about that?
Absolutely, Chris, and thank you very much for having me. So when you are using AI for any kind of usage that you would have within the firm, so a lot of firms by default have Microsoft Copilot that's installed. Several firms are using artificial intelligence note takers. So we recently published a research study on the six leading note takers, and a lot of firms are beginning to take up prompting. They're using generative AI and prompts to answer specific questions. Those questions could be, hey, let me do an analysis for me of a client's existing holdings, or, if I wanted to build an index, what could I use to build an index as opposed to trying to choose individual stocks? You can do an enormous amount of very, really robust analysis and deep research using generative AI. But what you should understand when you're using these tools is a couple of different things. And by understanding these and putting them in a workflow, you can protect your firm and use generative AI in a way that's compliant. So the first piece of that workflow would be number one, do not put PII, that's personally identifiable information for a client, in your generative AI. So the first part of your workflow is educating your team and making sure they don't put PII in there. The second is you should teach them some sort of prompt engineering. How do you prompt AI to generate the appropriate result set? And in many cases, you can build a prompt library of prompts that you would recommend your advisors use within the firm to generate results that are going to be, that are going to be more comprehensive and can reduce biases and hallucinations. I also wrote a series of articles on biases and hallucinations, so people can look at those. But you can reduce biases and hallucinations by having a prompt library. And then the third part of the workflow would be always have what I like to call the HITL, the human in the loop. Whatever comes out of AI, as a fiduciary, as a wealth management manager, and as a fiduciary for your client, you need to make sure that everything that comes out of AI is being reviewed by you. Your name is on that recommendation or that analysis, and you're being held accountable by the regulators, whether that's the SEC or FINRA, or even some of your designations, like the CFP has some guidelines that we'll put out there. So by putting together a workflow that includes educating your team upfront to not put PII in, having a prompt library with some prompt engineering that can reduce hallucinations and reduce bias, and then having the human in the loop, that HITL at the end to review the results that come out of AI. Those are some of the recommendations that I outlined in that article.
John, thank you very much for your time.
Chris, thank you so much for having me. I really appreciate it.